The first thing I remember is the sound of forks, polite clinks, ceramic on porcelain. The sound people make when they're pretending nothing is wrong. I was standing in the hallway outside the dining room, still in my work boots, oil-stained cuffs tucked under my jeans. I hadn't even sat down yet. I was early. I was always early. My mother didn't look up when she said it. "Don't wear that in here. You're embarrassing." Not angry, not cruel, casual, like stating the weather. That was the moment something in me recalibrated. I nodded, quietly, like I always did. Understood. The text came 2 weeks later. Family group chat, the one with the sunflower wallpaper my sister picked because it felt warm, the one that had slowly turned into a highlight reel of everyone else's lives. Mom, Mother's Day dinner, successful kids only, 7 p.m., reservations made. My name wasn't on the list. Below it, reactions bloomed. My brother sent a thumbs up. My sister dropped a clapping gif. No one asked where I was. No one noticed the omission. I stared at the screen until it went dark. Then I put the phone face down and finished my shift. I worked at a factory on the south side of town, 12-hour shifts, steel-toed boots, machines that didn't care who you were as long as you respected them. I liked that. The factory never asked me to be impressive. It asked me to be precise. It rewarded consistency. It punished arrogance. You learned fast or you bled. My family never understood that. To them, success had a uniform, glass offices, LinkedIn titles, clean hands. My brother was a consultant. My sister worked in marketing. My mother collected their achievements like trophies and displayed them at dinner parties. I was the footnote, the cautionary tale. Such a waste of potential, she used to say, shaking her head like she was mourning something noble. She never asked why I chose the factory. She never asked what I saw there. I didn't go to the Mother's Day dinner. I didn't announce my absence. I didn't fight. I didn't send a paragraph explaining my feelings. I disappeared. For real. I changed my number, closed my social media, moved apartments. I took a transfer to a different plant under a different subsidiary name. Silence is easy when no one is listening anyway. Years passed, and in those years, while my siblings were climbing visible ladders, I was building something quieter. The factory had an old problem, inefficiencies buried under legacy systems, vendors skimming margins, equipment leases that made no sense. I noticed because I had time, because I was ignored, because no one expected anything from me. So I fixed things, not loudly, not all at once. I logged suggestions, ran numbers, proposed adjustments. Most of them got ignored. Until they didn't. The first time management listened was after a breakdown on Line C, 3 hours of downtime, tens of thousands lost, everyone scrambling, everyone blaming. I walked into the office with a clipboard and said, "It's the supplier. They changed alloy composition last quarter. We need to switch back or recalibrate." The room went quiet. Someone asked how I knew. I told them I'd been tracking failure rates by batch number during my breaks. They stared at me like I spoke in a different language. That night they asked me to stay late. That turned into a meeting. That turned into a role. No title change at first, just responsibilities, access, a company email. I kept my head down. I watched. I learned how money moved, how decisions were justified, how incompetence hid behind confidence. Most importantly, I learned how ownership really worked. The factory was part of a larger manufacturing group, privately held, family-owned, or at least that's what the CEO liked to say in interviews. Truth was messier. Shares were fragmented, trusts, silent partners, retirement funds, legacy holdings inherited and forgotten. I spent nights reading filings, old agreements, footnotes no one read. That's where I found it. A dormant retirement trust, created decades ago for key operational personnel, voting rights intact, never activated, never consolidated, eligible if you met certain criteria. I met them. No one noticed when I filed the paperwork. No one questioned it when legal rubber-stamped the activation. It was all by the book, boring, technical, perfect. Over time, I accumulated more. Quiet purchases, options exercised, favors traded. I didn't rush. Revenge spoils when it's rushed. I thought about my mother sometimes. I imagined her dinner table, the stories she told about her successful kids, the way she probably framed my absence as a phase, or a failure, or proof she'd been right. It didn't hurt the way it used to. Pain is loud. This was different. This was clarity. By the time the CEO noticed me, I was already inside the walls. He was a legacy hire, confident, sharp suit. He liked to pace when he talked, like movement equaled momentum. We were in his office, glass walls, city view. He didn't offer me a seat. "You're outdated," he said, flipping through a report I'd authored without looking at me. "Your methods, your thinking. We're moving fast now, innovating. I don't need factory floor nostalgia slowing us down." I watched him, the expensive watch, the way his hand shook slightly when he was irritated. "We're done here," he hissed. "I'll have HR handle the rest." I replied quietly, "Understood." I stood, smoothed my jacket, walked out. That was the moment the retirement trust activated its voting rights. By Monday morning, the board convened an emergency meeting. No press, no assistants, just closed doors and raised voices. The question hung in the room like smoke. Who just fired the person who owns 76% of the shares? I wasn't there. I didn't need to be. The documents spoke for me. The votes were counted, the decision was procedural, inevitable. The CEO was escorted out before lunch. Security was polite. He kept asking for his phone. I found out through a news alert. Sudden leadership change at manufacturing group amid governance shakeup. No names, no details. I smiled for the first time in years. My mother called that night. I let it ring. She texted, "Is that you? The news? People are asking." I waited an hour before replying, "Yes." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Why didn't you tell us?" I imagined her face, the confusion, the recalculation. "You didn't ask," I typed. She called again. This time I answered. She cried. She apologized. She said she'd been worried. She said she was proud. I listened. When she finished, I said, "I have a dinner reservation on Sunday. Successful people only. I didn't include your name." Silence. Then a sharp inhale. I hung up. My siblings reached out next. My brother first, then my sister. Long messages, awkward congratulations, invitations to reconnect. I declined. Not angrily, not dramatically, just no. I didn't take the CEO's job. I appointed someone better, someone who understood systems, someone who respected the floor. I stayed where I was. I still wear my boots sometimes. I still walk the lines. The machines hum when I pass. They recognize me. People ask how it feels, the revenge, the payoff. They expect fireworks, closure speeches, tears. The truth is simpler. It feels quiet. It feels like balance restored. It feels like sitting at a table where no one has to prove anything. I wasn't embarrassing. I was underestimated. And that was their last mistake.